Alrighty, hey guys, Matt here from Loon Outdoors. In the vise we have a Daiichi 2546 saltwater hook, Vivus 50D, and we're going to take a spin on the Deceiver, one of the classic bait fish patterns of our time, or probably throughout fly fishing history. So up first, what I'm doing here is prepping some small saddle hackle. You could also use a cape if you wanted. These are kind of the side feathers off a saddle. They happen to be a grizzly natural color, and I am opposing them so that the curvature faces to like outward from the hook shank. And I don't mind not trimming off the fluff underneath. I think it adds some stability for binding these feathers down. Once we have that in place and they're secure, I'm going to go ahead and get some Farrar Flash Blend. It's a really nice synthetic fiber, really easy to work with, easy to taper, and doesn't hold any water. So I find that to be very positive. You can see I have half the material and I'm cutting that to shorten it up. And right now I'm just I'm spreading it as I'm rubbing it through my fingers to further make that material uneven. I don't want even tips, and I want there to be kind of a natural progression of the material. You can see here I'm doing like a taper cut, and we're going to add a little bit more in there as well. And I'm just going to lash those again backwards towards the back of our fly. They're getting kind of caught up on the vise, but once we pull them out, you'll see a little bit more. I may not have enough taper in there, so you might have to go back sometimes and re-pimp that out and make it look really good. So now I'm going to go ahead and start working by building layers of colors. So I'm starting with like a chartreuse flash blend here. You can blend in as many colors as you want. Chartreuse and white is just an ultra classic bait fish color. You can scale or shrink this fly to fit your needs for your local fishery. Equally as home in freshwater as it is in the salt. So it's a good thing to keep in mind there. Next up, I'm going to take out some olive. Like I said, just building on that those colorways there and progression of color that you would see naturally in a fish. There's a fade of color, from dark to light as you go towards the center of the fish into the lateral line. So it's something I really like to try to do as much as possible. We're going to use some smolt blue ripple ice fiber. It's RIP 359 from Hairline. Like I have said in other videos, it looks like a lightning bolt. So I'm going to use this as flash around the lateral line here. And you can see I didn't even it out. It's got a little bit of uneven to it, and that's going to just create some more realism in my own personal opinion. At this point, I'm going to whip finish, and I'm leaving that towards the back of the hook, so when a fish eats, bait fish typically they try to eat at the eye, especially if the bait fish is smaller. So I feel like it could help your hookup rate, and that seems to be a fairly traditional theory on this. I'm going to be using some eyes here. Eyes are your choice. You can make them as wild or unwild as you'd like, but these are just living eyes, size 5 millimeters, from Flyman Fishing. They have a really cool look to them. So once I have them in place and they're looking forward, which seems to be an important feature, I'm going to drop some flow in there, and this is to bond all of those materials onto the hook shank through the thread, but it also helps me hold the eyes in place to create like an epoxy styled head. Next up, we'll be using some thin. This is the UV clear fly finish in thin, and that's going to fill in the gaps, and I work in this as stages just so you can do it once and have it look proper. So first I fill in top and bottom, and typically then we'll go circumferentially around the eyes and create just a big bomb-proof head. But you can see some of those materials really light up underneath that UV light, so they'll really pop outside. So now we'll come back in with some flow, and we'll go ahead and coat a nice doming coat over the eyes so we're not building to the top and bottom, but securing our eyes in there. And that is your basic Deceiver pattern. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching.